Hello everyone, happy Tuesday and happy March. This is Lena Gersa. It's time for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Cambridge, Ontario, Canada, and today I am so excited to share with you a brand new, just released today collection of products called Waves of the Ocean. Now, this collection of products has some products that will be in the upcoming annual catalog and others that are exclusive to the promotion and are available while supplies last. So this is one of those collections that you kind of want to jump on sooner than later because it is fantastic, and I am anticipating that some of the gorgeous DSP is going to sell out, but I could be wrong. So we're going to have a look at the collection. I'm going to show you all the products that are a part of it. I'll let you know which ones are available while supplies last and which ones will be carrying over into the annual catalog so that you can make informed buying decisions this month as we start a brand new month. All right. Let me just pull up my video here on my iPad and see who's here. Let's see who's joining me today. Oh, hi, Laura. Hi, Debbie. Oh, it's cloudy in Edmonton. It is beautiful and sunny here today, Debbie. And it's actually quite mild. It's like +5, which is amazing. So the snow is melting. Oh, hi, Deb. I hope you don't have anything frozen in those groceries. If you have anything frozen, go put them away now. I don't want your frozen goods, especially your ice cream, melting. That would be a tragedy. Who else is here? We've got Paula and Wendy. Hi, Linda. Hi, Gail. Hope you all are having a great week and enjoying the spring sunshine here in Southern Ontario. It was certainly welcome. Often March comes in like a lion, but today has been a beautiful day. A little bit cloudy to start, but really, really lovely. So it's quite nice to feel the warm sun and watch the snow melt and hear the birds singing when I leave for work in the morning. I actually heard a robin this morning, so that was pretty darn exciting. I'm trying to motivate my students right now. They're all kind of feeling the winter blahs. And so every morning I run down the list of positives, all the things that we have to be excited about and look forward to. Not the least of which is March break, which is 8 school days away. Not that anybody's counting. So anyway, let's see. Oh, we've had Terry join and Krista. Hello. All right, so I'm going to flip the camera and we're going to get to it because I got lots to show you. We're going to make 3 projects, and I've also got some other samples to show you at the end, okay? So let me do the flipperoo here. All right, that looks pretty good. Just adjust my lights here so we don't have quite as much glare. All right, we are good to go. So this is the flyer for this collection. Beautiful products, and it's available either sort of as an a la carte, sort of pick and choose the items you want, or you can get it, the entire collection, with a single item number, which makes it easy to order. Totally up to you. The discounted bundle, the stamps and dies, are discounted both on their own and within the collection if you decide to get the whole collection, okay? But fantastic products, and I'm going to show them to you right now so you can see them up close and personal. All right, so of course we have a fantastic bundle. So the Waves of Inspiration stamp set, it's a distinctive stamp set. So we have gorgeous shading. This stamp is just fantastic. You're gonna see it in action in a few minutes, but it's just, fantastic stamp. Beautiful sentiments with really pretty fonts. Gotta love a Pelican stamp. I've got lots of friends who winter in Florida, so I know they're going to be excited about that Pelican stamp. So that is the stamp set. And then, of course, we have the coordinating dies. Now, the dies are, well, they're amazing. There's 2 different waves, detailed waves. We have clouds, and then these wacky little dies, which I'll show you what they are in a minute. Beautiful labels, and then, of course, a die that cuts out our cute little pelican. So that is the bundle. Now, this bundle will be in the upcoming annual catalog, so it's going to be around for a long time. And so if you can't swing it right now, because I know we just had Celebration and we all were taking advantage of Celebration freebies, this bundle will be around for a while, okay? So you do have some time on this one, okay? But The rest of the coordinating products are not going to be in the annual catalog. So these ones are available while supplies last. Okay, so we have gorgeous DSP. So this was actually made using acrylic paint pouring. So that is a really hot trend right now. Oh, hi Pam, thanks for joining me. Welcome. I hope you enjoy yourself. Feel free to chit chat. We've got some regulars. We've got some that are catching me live for the first time. So welcome. I'm happy to have you here. Thanks. All right, so as I was saying, these DSP patterns were created by the Stampin' Up! Concept artists using acrylic paint pouring. So it's a super hot trend. You can see tons of videos on YouTube of people doing this. And so they kind of captured that in shades of blues and greens for this DSP, and it's just fabulous. So I'll show you the DSP. Now, the front sides are mostly in shades of blue. Like, look at that. Oh, just so pretty. Look at that. I love this paper. So amazing. I would love to just frame this and hang it on the wall. Maybe that'll be some new artwork in my revamped studio. So just beautiful paper. And then on the back side, we have some variation in color. So it's not just blues and greens. So we have a little bit of a pool party. This one with almost looks like the waves on the edge of a beach. A little bit of pool party in granny apple green. And then we've got some that work as sunset. So we've got a beautiful coral. We've got a combination of coral and yellow, and then this one is mainly yellow. So just gorgeous. And these colors, the back sides of these, wouldn't they look amazing for Easter? Like think Easter eggs, like dip-dyed Easter eggs. So fun. So that is the DSP. Then we have these gorgeous new foils. So the foil comes in a pack. You get 2 sheets of each color. We have this gorgeous rich blue, very close to Pacific Point. We have this. It is like looking at Earth from space. I 100% agree, Paula. It's just, oh, it's such gorgeous paper. We have this lighter blue, which is very close to Coastal Cabana. And then we have this satiny brush. It almost looks like a satin brushed nickel. So if you have, fixtures in your bathroom or your kitchen that have a satin brushed nickel finish, that's what this reminds me of. So you get 2 of each color in the pack of the foils, okay? And then we have these gorgeous blue rhinestones. So there are several different shades. They're called Rhinestone Waves Basic Gems. And really, they do look like waves. We've got... this is a dark, like a navy blue. This is more Pacific Point. This actually kind of reminds me of the old Seaside Spray. It's very close to that color. This one's Pool Party, Granny Apple Green, and Coastal Cabana. So you've got lots of shades of blues and greens. Again, not just for this collection. They'll work with so many other products that we carry. So those are the Rhinestone Waves Basic Jewels. Now, again, the DSP, the foils, and these jewels are only available while supplies last. Okay, so I would jump on them sooner than later if these appeal to you. Okay? All right, let's get to some stamping. Oh, hi Joyce. Hi Penny. Oh, the jewels, Deb, are gorgeous. You can't really see them effectively on the video. Oh, I'm just realizing I'm getting a big bad shadow here. Let me see if I can get rid of that shadow a little bit. There, that's better. Okay, so the first one we're going to work on is this one. This is a super simple card. I just wanted to show a fun little technique for creating the wave shape. Super easy, but just showcasing the beautiful detailed wave die and the DSP. So we're going to do this one. It's going to be super quick. Super basic supplies, like literally 4 pieces. How often do I make a card with 4 pieces? If you've been around for any length of time, you know, not very often. All right, so we're going to start with our background. So this is like, again, a beautiful piece of this DSP, 4 by 5 1/4 inches. And then I have another piece, just another pattern. This is in the Pool Party that is 4 by 4. Okay, then ahead of time, I went ahead and cut one of the waves from that brushed silver, or brushed nickel, I like to call it. And really hot tip for these, use the adhesive sheets on the back. Okay, these are so detailed. It's a little frustrating trying to apply liquid glue to these detailed die cuts. So save yourself the aggravation and throw some adhesive sheets on your order if you don't already have some, because they will make your life much easier. Trust me. All right, so we are going to peel off our backing here from our adhesive sheet. I'm going to be really gentle with this. And then I'm going to glue this on. I just want to think about which way I want this to go. Do I like it this way? So I'm sort of paying attention to the way that the wave goes here. I think I'm going to do it this way. And I'm going to glue it. I'm going to stick it down so that I'm right near the top edge with my die cut, and this side is flush with the left side of the DSP. So we're going to put it right about there. Looks good. Just want to make sure that's nice and flush with the edge. Okay, this extra bit we're going to cut off. So no biggie there. Okay. So then I'm going to bring in my snips. I'm going to start by snipping off this excess little bit of wave. And then I'm going to take my snips and I'm going to follow the shape of the die cut and cut the excess DSP off. And that's going to give me the background in the shape of a wave. Okay, so the other option to this would be to die cut a second wave out of the DSP and then to sort of piece together all the little bits and pieces in the wave, which is a technique, and I actually did that with a couple of cards I'll show you later. But this way is a little bit quicker and easier, a little bit less frustrating, and a little bit less time consuming. So we're just going to follow the shape of the die. You just want to take your time with this so that you don't accidentally cut into the die, or die cut rather. But we're just going to cut around here. You don't have to be super precise with this. Like if, you know, you have an extra little bit hanging out, it's not a biggie. Just going to snip that off to make my life a little easier. So we're going to come around here and just follow that die cut. Now I know many of you are saying there's no way I would do that. I hate fussy cutting, blah, blah, blah. This is not really fussy cutting. You're just kind of tracing with your scissors. Think about it that way. Don't think about it as fussy cutting. It's all in your mindset, people. Be positive. I can't even tell you how many times I've been saying that to my kids right now. Like, oh my goodness, they're just a bunch of lumps right now. They just want March break. They want warm weather. They're just over it all. And so every day I have to give them a little pep talk about focusing on the positive, retraining your brain. All right, there we go. And there we have an awesome wave shape. I love that. So let's get rid of our scrap here. Move my trash bin a little closer. So this is going to get glued on along the bottom of our background panel, just like that. Okay, now before we do that, we're going to stamp our sentiment, and we're going to stamp it before we glue this on. Why? Because if we screw up, we can flip it over and cover up the mistake. Okay, this is me as an expert mistake maker, telling you all the tips that I use to fix my mistakes. So if you make lots of mistakes and you want to learn how to fix them, you are in the right place, peeps. All right, who else is here? Oh, Julie's here. Hi. Oh, Julie and Julie. We've got two Julies here. Oh, you ordered yourself new snips. Oh, Deb, they will change your life. I'm telling you, they really are fantastic. I love our paper snips. All right, so we're going to stamp this sentiment. Your strength is an inspiration. And I have it mounted crooked, so I think I'm going to stop and straighten it before I make a mess. So let's mount that straight. Then we have at least a, fighting chance of getting it straight. Okay, so I'm stamping this in basic gray ink, and I'm just going to stamp it kind of just above the crest of the wave there. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in my cute little bird stamp. This adorable little ooh, that's got a big halo. We don't want that. We're going to get rid of that and try again. Light touch when you're inking these little bitty stamps. Otherwise you end up with nasty halos, which then end up on your project. And those are a little bit harder to fix. You have to hide them, basically. All right, there we go. How simple is that? So we're going to now go ahead and glue our wave down. Oh, hello, Diane. Nice to see you live. I hope you are well. Let's pop this guy on the bottom. So I'm just going to make sure my edges are all flush so I don't see any of the orange and yellow peeking through. There we go. And then that is going to get glued onto a pool party card base, 4 1/4 by 11 inches, scored in the middle at 5 1/2. So we'll just fold that in half along our score line, give that a burnish, and then we're going to add a little bit of liquid glue or whatever. It doesn't have to be liquid glue. I just have it open, so that's what we're going with to the back of our DSP, and we're going to pop that on. And how simple was that card? Okay, all of the work is being done by that gorgeous die cut and of course the beautiful DSP. Okay, no popping on this. I know you're all shocked. I am the queen of dimensionals, but I wanted to show how quick and easy it is to make a beautiful card with really very little effort. Now, one thing I forgot to mention about these dies that really made me happy when I realized it is that all of these dies fit through the mini cut and emboss machine. So if you are someone who hasn't got the big cut and emboss, you've got the mini, and you feel like you're kind of limited in your die selection, these brand new dies fit perfectly through the mini machine, and they cut beautifully. Okay, now I should also mention the mini machine, if you don't already have one, it is on sale this month for 20% off. So that's a whole other kettle of fish, that actually, not a kettle of fish, it's actually a bouquet of flowers, not stinky fish. 20% off the mini machine this month, along with several bundles from the annual catalog. So the details are all on my website, but I did want to take a minute and mention that these dies all fit in the mini machine, which is fab. Okay, so that is card number 1, done and done. We are going to bring in number 2. And it is this one. So this is one I think I posted yesterday. I was left, as I was playing with this paper, I had all kinds of little strips of the DSP left. And it's such beautiful DSP, I couldn't bring myself to throw it out. So I said, you know what, it's time to do something with these strips. So I just used them on a background. So I'm going to show you how I did that. Oh, there you go, Deb. You're going to feel very different about fussy cutting with a brand new pair of scissors. I guarantee you will enjoy it more. All right. So to start, I have a piece of Pool Party cardstock. It's 4 1/4 by 11 inches, and I've embossed it using the Spatters or Stripes and Spatters embossing folders. So these are in the mini catalog. Again, they're kind of hidden gems because they're not part of a suite. They're not really prominently featured. So if you have missed these, I'm going to tell you to go back and take a second look. Okay, check out the catalog at a glance at the back, and you'll find them. These again are sized to fit through the mini machine. And they come in a set of 2. So we have these sort of spatters that look like water droplets, and then we have these sort of rough, sort of hand sketched stripes. And they're so fun for doing vintage or distressed kind of creations. And they are perfect for this suite. Yep, see, Paula, lots of people miss those folders because they're not, as I said, not super prominently displayed. So now, because they are narrower, right, they are sized to fit in the mini machine, I actually had to run it through twice in my full-size machine to get the whole card front. Now, you're going to see there's a bit of a stripe down the middle where the folder overlapped when I ran it through the second time, but that's okay because we're going to hide it. Nobody's going to see, okay? All right, so here I have a bunch of strips of sort of blue patterns DSP. I've cut them to 1 inch, and these are all, I think they're all like in the 5 1/4 range in length. It doesn't really matter. They just need to be long enough to kind of go across this panel. These were all just offcuts, odds and ends, that I cut down to 1 inch, okay? So I'm going to lay these out, and I'm going to put them kind of cockeyed. So I'm going to put all the sort of lighter blue ones first, the Pool Party ones, and then I'm going to add the darker ones over top just for a bit of contrast. I think I like the dark one on the bottom. I'm going to go on kind of like this. Okay, so we're just kind of putting them on sort of any which way. There's not really a wrong way to do it, okay? And we're just going to lay them across. So I'm just going to take my seal, and I'm just going to add a little bit to each strip, and they're going to go in the middle-ish. I'm not even really measuring. This is just kind of free-form stamping. How's that? Can't go wrong. Okay, I'm leaving a bit of space between them so that I can add my other strips and not cover the ones below completely. So we're going to put this guy on here, and we'll add this guy down here, just like that. Okay, and I feel like that could have gone down a little lower, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so there is our background. So then we're just going to flip this over and cut the ends off of our strips here. You could certainly do this with a guillotine trimmer as well, but I don't have it here, and my scissors are, so we're going to snip with our scissors. All right, so there we go. And I think Yeah, I think I like it this way because it's a little bit more towards the bottom. All right, so there's our background, super simple. On this little piece of white cardstock, this is actually a die cut with the stitched rectangle dies. I've cut it from basic white, and we are going to use this awesome wave stamp. Now, this is a large stamp. As you can see, I'm using it on my is it F block? Yes, the biggest block that we carry. So this is the block that is sized for background stamps. Now, if you don't have this block, you don't have to go out and buy it. If you have a Stamparatus, you can totally use it with this stamp with the Stamparatus. Okay, totally works. So don't sweat it. You don't have to go out and buy this big honker. But I actually use this large block quite a bit. I actually use it more as a palette for watercoloring. It's a nice big block, so I'll put my drops of re-inker on there, and then I've got my little palette for watercoloring. So I use this block a lot, not necessarily as a stamp block, but if you don't have it, you do not have to go out and buy it to be able to use this this large stamp if you have a Stamparatus. Okay, all right, so we're gonna ink this up with some Pool Party ink, and honestly, the detail in this stamp is just unreal. So we're gonna ink this up. When you have a stamp this large, you want to take your ink pad to the stamp just to make sure that you don't miss part of the stamp. It's really easy to miss part of the image when you do it the other way around, when it's this big. And then we're going to stamp this along the bottom of our die cut. Now I don't want to get the whole, I'm not going to get the whole wave. I'm going to stamp it a little bit off the edge, right about there. Look at that. Oh, such a gorgeous stamp. All right, that's all there is to that. Now we are going to pull in another die cut. So this is the same, actually no it's not, I used a different die, doesn't matter. This is a slightly more detailed wave. I think it's the one I used on the last card. Yeah, so see how this wave and this wave are a little bit different. The curl on it, we've got a few more little drops hanging down. This doesn't have quite the same, but that's okay. They both work layered over the stamp. So this one's going to have a slightly different look. Now, all these negatives, like all these little bits, when you make these die cuts, don't throw them out, because you can use them to make beautiful sort of stained glass effect cards. And I will show you what I mean in a few minutes. I'll show you at the end of the video. So this, don't throw these out at all. Okay, keep them, especially when you're using them with this gorgeous foil. It's kind of heartbreaking to throw out all of that beautiful foil. So the answer to that is don't use them. Don't throw them out. Make pretty things with them. All right, so there we go. We're gonna layer our die cut on our wave. Okay, so this is actually, I've kind of stamped it so that it's gonna run right across the bottom of my die cut. Go figure. All right, so again, we have adhesive sheets, I think, on the back of this. Yes, we do. So we're gonna be really gentle as we peel this off, because we don't wanna rip our lovely wave here. Get rid of that. And then this is going to get layered over our stamped wave. So again, I just kind of want to, you know what, I think I'm going to put it a little bit lower. It's not going to line up perfectly, but that's okay. Well, you know what, I am going to put it on because that will cause me problems when I try to trim it off. So I'm running it right along the bottom edge of my rectangle here. Okay, then again, I'm just going to flip this over, if I can unstick it from my grid paper, and trim off the excess. So we go 1, 2. And, oh, the waves are gorgeous, Betty. Honestly, these dies are fantastic. And the good news is they'll be around in the annual, so when you get back from Arizona, they'll still be here. So we're going to trim that. There we go. Okay, so there is our wave. And then we are going to layer that. I wanted, where is my layer? I know I die cut one, or I know I cut one. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I forgot. All right, we're going to grab a piece of blue foil and we're going to cut this because I want this layer in behind my wave. I'm going to move these little bits off the grid paper so that I don't make a mess. Let me just grab my trimmer. If I can find it. Where is it? I can't find my trimmer. I'll have to use my old one. This is what happens when you reorganize your craft room and you don't remember where you put stuff. So I'm using my old Stampin' Up trimmer. And I'm going to pull in some of this gorgeous blue foil. Now you're going to get to watch me cut a brand new sheet of foil. It's a little bit heartbreaking, but it's worth it. and I'm just gonna quick measure this. So this is 2 3/4 by 4 1/8. I should have remembered that because I've cut a ton of these. So 2 3/4 by 4 1/8. Oh, except I shouldn't have cut it 2 3/4. I need to cut it bigger. I need to cut it 2 7/8 by 4 1/4. That will give me a bigger mat, I think. Unless I've totally screwed up, which is highly possible. All right, how does that look? Yep, that's too big. We're gonna trim that down. Okay, let's try that again. We're gonna do, what was this, 2 3/4? Let's try this. And 4 1/8. There we go. That'll work better. Much better. All good. All right, so that layer behind this stitched rectangle, I didn't use a die cut, obviously. 2 3/4 by 4 1/8 will give you a nice narrow little border there. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and stick that down. Pop it onto our beautiful foil. Now I know some of you are thinking, how can she possibly cover up all that foil? You could totally go ahead and make a die cut out of that, the in behind. Nobody will see it, okay? So if it's bothering you that I'm covering up the foil, feel free to make a die cut before you do that, okay? All right, we are going to add a couple of dimensionals to the back of our focal image here. And get rid of our backings. I broke my thumbnail on the weekend, and it's really frustrating because I feel like I can't peel my backings off very well. So now the cool thing about having these cockeyed strips on here is that you don't have to really worry too much about getting your focal image perfectly straight, because no one will notice if it's crooked. Okay, there we go. Now, before we deal with our sentiment, we're going to go ahead and glue that onto our card base. So this is Pacific Point cardstock. Now, Pacific Point cardstock is something I don't use very often. I think the last time I used it was with the blueberries. Remember from the Celebration DSP last year? That was the last time I used Pacific Point. So it's a beautiful blue. It's just one I don't really gravitate to very often. But for this collection, it is fantastic. So there's going to be a run on Pacific Point cardstock, guaranteed. You watch. All right, so this is cut to 5.5 by 8.5, scored in the middle at 4 1/4. So we're going to fold that in half along our score line. And then we are going to layer our card front onto our card base. So we'll just add a little seal. Woo, Lena, you're going too fast. This is what happens when you rush with seal. It will peel back your cardstock if it's embossed. You got to go slow. And yeah, there we go. All right, there is our card. Now we're going to work on our sentiment. So this is a fantastic label die. There's actually 2 label dies in the die set. And I love these openings here because we are going to add a little strip of scrap foil just to kind of accent our sentiment. But first we're going to stamp. So let's do that first. So our sentiment says, "You are totally awesome," which is pretty appropriate for funky wave or beach theme. So I'm going to stamp this in Pacific Point. And again, we're going to hope and pray that we get this straight because we can't look straight down. We shall see what happens. Huh, that was pretty good. Shockingly. All right, let's grab our tailored tag punch and we're gonna nip out the ends of our little strip. So this is cut, what is this? 5/8 of an inch? 5/8 of an inch by 2 3/4. All right. You could certainly make it longer if you wanted to, but I'm just gonna nip the end off on each end to give myself a little banner. So I'm just kind of centering it in my punch. If you've been around and watched my videos before, you've seen me do this a million times. It's the way I use my tailored tag punch far more than as a tag. And then we're going to add just a little touch of seal to the middle of our strip here. We're going to feed it through and in behind our label. Whoopsie. We're going to get that centered. Whoopsie. Butterfingers today. And then I'm just going to press it and so that the seal grabs and holds it. Okay, so it's just a really fun way to add a little bit of an accent behind your sentiment. So that is going to go on, also popped. I'm double popping here. I'm making up for the fact I didn't use any dimensionals on my last card. So we're double popping here. I hope you guys are okay with that. So I'm adding just a couple of dimensionals to the one end because the other end is going to hang off the edge. And I don't really need to worry too much. It's going to be secure enough that I don't need. I'm going to try to get this straight. Not bad. Okay. And then I'm going to bring in my already opened pack of Rhinestone Waves jewels. And we're just going to add a couple of little jewels. Now, if you were going to give this to a guy, you may not want to add the bling. But, you know, I don't know. Every guy should be secure enough to have a little bling on their card, right? Right. If they aren't, they need to get over themselves. Okay, so we're going to add just a couple of little rhinestones there, and there we go. Okay, super easy. Great way to use up scraps. Now on the inside of this one, I stamped a second wave and then added a little bit more, another scrap of DSP to the inside. Okay, super simple, but again, gorgeous, gorgeous products in this suite. All right, I need to keep my Pacific Point out for the next one because we're going to do some wave stamping with the Pacific Point. So the last one we're going to do today is this one. This is one I posted earlier today. I had to showcase these cute little clouds and my adorable little pelican. So we are going to have some fun with him. So I have actually already stamped and die cut my pelican just in the interest of time. I'll keep this handy. Swap out some bins here. Okay, got lots of stuff going on here. So to start, we're going to work on our background. So here is a full card front size piece of that gorgeous DSP. 5 1/4 by 4 is beautiful on the back as well. Now I'm going to point out, do you see this? I had a dull blade. Sometimes you get a dull blade and this happens. But all is not lost because we're going to cover it. Okay, we are going to hide that dull blade or that little rip there and no one will ever know. Okay, so if that happens, don't cry too hard. Cry a little and then figure out a way to fix it. Okay. All right, so this piece is actually the other half of the piece that I tore here. So I just cut a piece of this gorgeous DSP and then tore the edge because I wanted sort of an uneven edge behind my focal image. So I'm going to tear a little bit more off of this just because I don't want to cover quite this much of this beautiful blue DSP. So I'm just going to rip off a little bit more. And we're going to glue that right along the top edge and hide our nasty little rip there. So we're going to pop this on. Oh, I hear thumping upstairs. That must mean my family is home. It was so nice and quiet in the house today. My son went to a friend's house to hang out after school. So it was so nice and quiet in the house. It was lovely. It was me and the cats hanging out. Okay, so this is our background. We're done with that for a minute. I'm going to actually show you how to stamp this wave in the Pacific Point. It is absolutely gorgeous. Now, I've stamped it with Pool Party. I'm not going to worry too much about cleaning my stamp because it's a lighter blue and I'm going to use the darker Pacific Point. So we're going to ink up our stamp again. My Pacific Point is plenty juicy because it doesn't get a lot of use. It sure has since I got this suite, let me tell you. All right, so we are going to go ahead and stamp our wave. Now again, I just want part of the wave. I don't want all of it because I need room for my pelicans here. So again, we're going to stamp that. This is another die cut stitched rectangle. But look at that wave. It's just such a gorgeous stamp. Now, I decided I didn't like my white sky, so I wanted to add a little bit of a sunset kind of color. So I brought in a little bit of So Saffron. And we're going to do just a little bit of ink blending. The nice thing about these blending brushes is the color is so soft when we add it. It's easy to add it even though we've already got a stamped image there. It's just a really gentle, subtle way to add color without sort of overwhelming. You're not going to get big, splotches of color. The blending brushes are just fabulous. So we're just going to add, and isn't it amazing what just that little bit of ink does? It really makes the wave pop, I think. All right, so that is that. This guy is going to get layered on another piece of blue foil. Yes, I'm going to cover up more blue foil. I know you're all just like cringing. I'm causing lots of pain today. I apologize. So this one is cut to 3 5/8 by 2 1/4. Okay, so that's going to layer behind that rectangle. So we're going to go ahead again and add a little bit of adhesive and stick this guy down. We have a super narrow border on this one. Okay, and then that is going to get adhered here. Now we're not going to do that just yet because we're actually going to stamp our birds before we go ahead and stick this down, just in case we have a nasty halo. You see how there's ink on the edge of my stamp? So we're going to clean that, make sure we don't have an oopsie. Oh, thanks, Karen. I'm glad you like it. Oh, isn't it? Oh, it's such a fantastic suite. Stick around, Karen, because I've got lots of other ideas I'm going to show. Okay, so we're just going to add 1, 2, whoopsie, halo. Hopefully that one I can, well, I don't know if we're going to be able to get rid of that one. We just won't tell anybody that it's there, okay? Because normally, well, no, you know what? I'm going to cover it with a cloud. We're going to add another bird over here. We're going to just change up our cloud design a little bit here so we can hide that halo behind that bird. Okay? See, halos happen to all of us. I've been stamping for a really long time and I still get them. Okay? It happens. All right, so let's talk about these clouds for a minute. So we have 2 dies for each cloud in the set of dies, and I just realized I'm missing one of my little bits here. Oh no, they're all here. Okay, so we have a larger cloud and a smaller cloud. And then we have these weird dies. So these are cut using these ones, okay? When I first got this set, I was like, what the heck? I cut this out and I'm like, I could not figure out what the heck that was. It took me longer than I care to admit to realize that these are designed to layer over the solid clouds to add detail and to make them look like fluffy clouds. Yes, it did take me quite some time to figure that out. I'm a little bit embarrassed to say, but I did figure it out all by myself. You should be proud of me. So what we're going to do, again, I've got adhesive sheets on the back of this, and we're going to go ahead and layer these on our little clouds. Okay, and it's not fun, just the added texture and depth that provides. So we're gonna just do that for all 3. What did I do here? Oh no, we're good. I thought I had, I don't know. Sometimes my brain, I just wonder. I really wonder. I think my students do too. Sometimes like words are just hard. And they look at me like, holy cow, women, what are you on? All right, there we go. So we've got our 3 little clouds. So we are gonna need to cover one of our birds here. Actually, I may end up covering, no, we're gonna just put that little cloud or that big cloud right there, and that's gonna hide our halo. This guy's just gonna be peeking out from behind a cloud. We'll put this one here, and then this guy, how are we gonna do this? Having to change your design on the fly is interesting. We'll add this one here, peeking out from behind the focal image, and then that guy's gonna go there. That works. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue this guy down first. We are going to, again, pop it up. So we'll add a couple of dimensionals here and get rid of our backings. Yeah, thanks, sis. I'm not the brightest bulb on the Christmas tree sometimes. You gotta wonder. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and add this first, just centered on our background, okay? Then we're gonna add our clouds. So I'm gonna add this guy that's gonna hide that nasty halo. So it's gonna go right near the top. This little bird's just sort of gonna be peeking out from under the cloud. Just like that. And then this guy is gonna be peeking out from behind here. So we'll add, which way do I need my adhesive to go? This way. So we're gonna add this guy here. And then this one I'm actually gonna pop up and it's gonna overlap that other one. Where are my minis? Here we go. One there and one there. All right, so we'll pop this on right about there. Okay, and then we'll trim off this extra cloud overhang. There we go. Now we're ready to glue this onto our card front. We're going to deal with our Pelican in a minute, but we're going to glue this down. So again, same card base as before. It's the other half of the piece of cardstock. So again, 5.5 by 8.5, scored in the middle at 4 1/4. So we'll just fold that in half along our score line. and add a little bit of adhesive and pop this on. I just love the way the Pacific Point card base just, oh, it works so well with this DSP. Okay, so there is sort of our basic card. We're going to deal with our little pelicans. Now, you'll notice there is only one pelican here, but I have two pelicans here. That's because I wanted to have more, I don't know, what do I call this? Moorings? I don't know. I'm not I don't live near the ocean, so I don't know what all these oceany things are called, but that's what I'm calling them, moorings. But we're going to add a little bit of color to our pelican first. So I colored the body of my pelican with the light crumb cake. These are stamped, I should mention, in in basic gray. I didn't want black because, again, I wanted them to be sort of softer to kind of work with the rest of the card. Okay, so just the body of the pelican is in crumb cake, and then I'm going to do his beak with just a touch of light So Saffron. And then the moorings, I am using light gray granite, and I really like, gray granite has quite a bit of brown in it. And so I feel like it works really well sort of as a like sort of weathered, aged wood, which is what happens when you have wood in the water for any length of time. So we're just going to color this. Now I'm going to go right over top of the rope here on the pylon because we're going to add a little bit of twine. And cover that up, and we're just going to add a little accent, a little texture. Okay, I'm going to color these ones as well. I'm not going to worry about coloring the pelican because he's going to get chopped off. Sorry, Mr. Pelican, you don't get to have friends. But we are going to color these guys. And I just love the way the gray granite blends with the basic gray, and it just really makes it look like old wood. Okay, so that's it for coloring. We'll get those out of the way. And I'm going to bring in my snips. I'm going to actually cut off the end of this. And then when I flip it around, I'm actually going to cut these a little bit shorter, but that makes my other moorings, okay? But I'm going to actually cut these a little bit shorter. So I'm going to cut down and in, just because I wanted to make them a little bit shorter than I had them. What did I do here? Oh, I think I screwed that up. Oh, well, whatever. Doesn't matter. Yeah, I did. I actually left them intact. I cut the other end off, but that's okay. Doesn't matter. They're just moorings. Okay, so they're going to go like that. But before we do that, we're going to add a little bit of twine to our pelican here. So I'm going to take and put a glue dot just on the back where the twine is on the stamped image. And yes, pilings. Thank you. Thank you, Michelle. You have my back. All right. Pilings. They're called pilings. Michelle would know because she spends a lot of time at the beach. So we're just going to wrap the twine around a few times just to add a little extra texture, like it's rope on a piling, not a mooring, a piling. And we're going to trim this off. Okay, and we have it's just a little touch of texture. I'm going to actually adhere the second set to the back of this one just for a little bit of depth. So I'm just going to add a little bit of seal here and layer these guys. I'm going to do it right about there. This will look a little different than my sample, but that's okay. It's handmade. It doesn't have to be identical. All right, so this is going to get glued to the front of our card. I'm going to put a dimensional right here to support the part that's going to extend off the edge. But then the rest, I can just use a little bit of seal to stick it down, even my little pelican guy. So this is going to go on. Now I want to make sure my pelican doesn't have his head in the clouds, okay? So when I put this on, I want to make sure that he's actually on the focal image and not, you know, floating above the clouds, okay? And then our last touch is to stamp our sentiment. So I have my happy birthday sentiment. This comes in the stamp set, I should mention. Always need a happy birthday sentiment. And we're going to stamp it in Pacific Point. Now this is just a little scrap of white cardstock here. I'm going to move this closer because I can't see what I'm doing when it's way up there. Okay, so there is my sentiment. Now I am going to trim this. There are lots of ways to fussy cut a sentiment, like lots and lots of ways. But this way is just a little bit more interesting than cutting just straight. So we're just going to cut it straight across here, but we're going to do a little angle on the ends. I'll show you in a sec. So we're going to cut across the top and bottom, just to make it a bit narrower. And then I'm going to angle my scissors, and I'm going to cut one end at an angle, and then I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to cut the other end at the same angle. right about there. Okay, it just gives me sort of a fun little label there. A little bit more masculine looking than some of our labels, okay? So I'm gonna add a couple of mini dimensionals to the back of this. Make sure I'm doing them on the right end. So we're gonna go one there, and one there. And again, this is gonna hang off the end a little bit. So I'm not gonna worry about putting a dimensional on the very end. That's gonna go right there. And then our last touch again is a bit of bling because, you know, why not? So we're going to use these gorgeous Pacific Point gems. I'm going to add one here. And I should mention these come in 3 sizes. Okay, there's a very large, these big ones down here, medium, and then a ton of small ones. Okay, I tend to find I use more small ones than anything else, so I'm kind of glad that they gave us extra small ones. I'll put this guy over there. And there we go. Now on the inside of this one, again, I just stamped that gorgeous wave. Look at how beautiful that stamped image is. Just so much detail. Absolutely love it. All right, so that is card number 3. So let me bring back all 3, and then I'm going to show you a couple more ideas that I played around with. So there are our 3 from today. Now let me show you a couple more because I had so much fun with this bundle. This was the very first card I made. As soon as I pulled it out of the package, this is the one I made. So I stamped that wave first because I could not resist. It was so gorgeous. Did a little bit of sponging and some ink blending, and that's it. Like super simple. Okay, so that was number 1. Then I had to play with this whole idea of a stained glass look. So remember how I said to save all these little negatives from your die cuts? This is why. So I cut 3 waves, okay, one from the silver, one from the light blue, and one from the dark blue, and then pieced this together and got these gorgeous stained glass look. Now my mom does stained glass, that's her sort of hobby, and this reminds me of something that she would make. In fact, I think I might take this card to her and say, can you make me something, a stained glass light catcher with this kind of wave in it, because I just think it's beautiful. So again, super simple card because I wanted the real showstopper to be that gorgeous wave. So that is that one. Here, I'll lay these out so you can see them all. And then I still had more bits from that, from making this one. So I thought, well, let's play around and do a little bit of an easel card. So this is a split easel. So it lies flat like this and then stands up like that when it opens. I thought that would be a great masculine birthday card. And then I thought, okay, well, let's do a bridge card because it would be awesome to have that wave on the bridge. Now, you'll notice it's a very large bridge card. I don't know what I was thinking. Bridge cards are normally 5.5 by 4 1/4 to fit in a standard envelope. This one is 5.5 by 5.5, which is totally fine. It works. I'm going to have to make a custom envelope for it, but that's all right. But I love that this wave is so prominent on this card. So that's that one. And then I thought, well, let's play around and see what other products we carry that coordinate. So I pulled out my, what are it, smooth sailing? I think they're called. Where are they? Yeah, smooth sailing dies. See, I got smart when I redid my craft room. My video area is now right next to my die shelf. So if I forget the names of things, I can just look over and they're right there. So again, super simple card. Use some more of the DSP. Again, another stamped wave with a little bit of ink blending. And then I die cut the ship's wheel and the seaweed from the smooth sailing dies. So this suite it fits perfectly with so many other products that we carry. And it's just a great addition to your collection. So I hope you'll take a good hard look at it. It is fantabulous. You'll have so much fun. And just keep in mind that all of the coordinating products, the foil, the DSP, and the gems are only while supplies last. Okay? All right. Oh, I'm glad you guys like them. Thanks so much. All right. Thanks for joining me today, ladies. I hope you have a fantastic afternoon. We are having pancakes today for dinner. I told my husband that he is cooking dinner and he's making pancakes. So he should be up there right now getting going on dinner. It is Shrove Tuesday, in case you're wondering why we're having pancakes. But we are having pancakes today and kicking off Lent with some yumminess. So I hope you have a great evening. I will see you next week for another episode at Tuesday Live at 5. Bye for now.